Hello, and thank you for downloading this presentation on the cookie jar power. You'll remember that the annual client meeting, we talked about a number of technical issues, one of which was the cookie jar power. And this video is designed to explain it so that you can review it and make a decision about whether you want to include it in your trust for your beneficiaries. So let's talk about what that is. So as a summary, the cookie jar power story is a fictional story, and it's about me coming home from school in the middle of the day after the end of school. And my mother would be out either shopping or working, and I knew that there was a cookie jar on the top shelf, so I would pull out a chair and open the cookie jar and reach up and reach in, pull out a cookie, put the cover back, put the chair back, and then go about my business. But of course, I wasn't supposed to take a cookie as well, so my mother would come home and she would scold me for having done that. I don't know how she always knew that, but she always knew that I had taken a cookie. So that's the cookie jar story, and what it refers to is allowing a beneficiary to reach into their trust, which they would not otherwise have the power to do, to withdraw a certain amount of income from the trust in order to make that income taxable to the beneficiary instead of to the trust. And we'll talk about why that would be in a couple of minutes. Another important aspect of this is to understand the distinction between trust accounting income, which is a sort of a bookkeeping or trust accounting concept, versus trust taxable income, which is a tax concept based on the tax code. Not all trust accounting income is taxable income, and not all taxable income is trust accounting income. So let's talk about the cookie jar power. So why are we suggesting that we do this? The school bus trust protections for the beneficiary in their lifetime trusts protect the assets in the trust from claims of creditors. But we also have to consider the beneficiary's income needs, so the trustees make distributions based on what the beneficiary's income needs are. And the trust gets a deduction for income that is distributed to the beneficiary. The trust also gets a deduction for income that the beneficiary has the right to withdraw. And that's the basis of the cookie jar power. And why do we want to do that? Well, that's because trust income tax rates and trusts, lifetime trusts for beneficiaries are separate taxpayers. Trust income tax rates reach their highest bracket at $7,500 in taxable income. And then on top of that, the net investment income tax can be added to it. And so the trust can end up with sizable amounts of tax that would not otherwise be taxed if the beneficiary actually paid the tax on it, because the beneficiary's bracket is often much less than the maximum bracket that the trust would pay at. But of course, we don't always want the beneficiary to have all that income, because they do have creditors, and the creditors could take it from them. So there's a balancing here. So the limited power to vest, or the cookie jar power, is a power to withdraw trust income taxed at the highest bracket. The ability to withdraw, this is the beneficiary's power, is limited to the greater of $5,000 or 5% of the value of the trust. The reason for that is so that, and this is a technical provision of the tax code, if that limit is kept to, then the beneficiary's estate does not include the income that was not withdrawn. And of course, the beneficiary doesn't have to withdraw the income. They just have the right to do it. And because they have the right to do it, the income is taxable to them. The power expires every year at the end of December. But the one disadvantage is that the ability to withdraw that taxable income potentially exposes the income to claims by the beneficiary's creditors, because if the beneficiary has the power to withdraw assets or income from the trust, the creditors of the beneficiary can stand in their shoes and exercise their rights as a beneficiary to get to the income too. And that's even worse result, because the beneficiary ends up paying income tax on assets that they could have withdrawn, on income that they could have withdrawn, but they don't actually get the income to pay the tax with. Beneficiaries' creditors get it. Also, the limited part of vest applies only to trust accounting income, and trust accounting income does not, as we said, include capital gains. So if we're going to include capital gains, and we usually want to do that, to minimize the net investment income tax, we need to redefine trust accounting income. The net investment income tax includes capital gains. The cookie jar power is going to be limited to trust accounting income. Trust accounting income does not include capital gains. So in order to get those capital gains included in that trust accounting income, we have to redefine capital gains as trust accounting income in the trust. And we can do that. It's just a matter of amending what the term trust accounting income means. So I hope that the explanation has been helpful to you. What your option is to include that cookie jar power or limited power to vest in the trusts for your beneficiaries that occur after your death or after the death of the second spouse. And those are those school bus trusts. In order to tell us whether you want to have that power in those trusts, what you need to do is you need to download the update checklist from the 2017 ACM materials, which is where you got this video. Download it, fill it out, sign it, and then send it to me at fbridges@hdlawgroup.com, or you can mail it in with your registration for the client update program in the fall. But we need to know whether you want to have this power in your school bus trust for your beneficiaries well in advance of the client update program, so that we can get the drafting done. So please let us know as soon as you can. Thank you very much. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to call me at 617-630-5700, or you can send me an email at fbridges@hdlawgroup.com. And thanks very much.